They built a strong brand affinity by going balls deep in their marketing strategy. They took a taboo topic and made it conversational amongst the male demographic, generating over $100 million in sales. Let's dive into Manscaped. Cock and balls.
Let's go.
What's up, everyone? Sean Azari here. I'm at Matt Skopak.
What's going on, everyone?
Welcome to Deep Dive, episode 43, where we take businesses like Manscaped and dive into their marketing and business strategies, such that you can take these strategies and implement them into your business. Manscaped started in 2017 by Paul Tran. Previously, not really an entrepreneur. He was a tech guy. Worked in SaaS products and so forth. Didn't know much about branding and so forth, but he really found a white space in the market where this brand, it's basically grooming from the down below, grooming your dick and shit. So basically that's what it is. And, people didn't want to talk about that. People did it, but it was not a conversation. No one felt comfortable, talk about trimming down your
marketing
pants.
it, building a product for it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Again, they made it conversational. The brand now, they bootstrapped their business at the start. They have well over, 70 employees.
70, I think it was 72 current day.
72 employees based in San Diego, and they're just killing it. They're really killing it with their marketing. They have a great story, and we're going to really dive into some of the points before we can get into there. They also partnered in with a lot of UFC. I think with the UFC, you'll see.
They're an official sponsor for UFC. They are a official sponsor of the San Francisco 49ers. They have little posters above every urinal in the stadium.
Yeah, they
like, how does your bush look? Literally, while you're taking a piss.
They're looking for other ad placements where their demographic lies, and by building these partnerships, it builds that credibility, and they're just all over.
Strategically, these guys might be the best. We say this every week, a certain brand is the best. These guys might be the best in circulating and marketing in so many different avenues, as well as hitting specific marketing areas that are perfect for their brand.
They have about, I believe when I was looking at one of their campaigns, 20 people dedicated just on their social media team. So what does that mean for you? Let's mimic some of these strategies. What are they doing? So Matt, you want to get to number one?
Yes. You cannot rely on digital marketing forever. And this one was an eye-opener for me. Me and Sean, we focus our careers and we focus on digital marketing basically in every episode. But this was something that Paul did say is digital marketing will only take you so far, and eventually you're going to hit different ceilings. So, Facebook is the best at basically finding lookalike audiences and finding people that are really going to buy.
They're really good at targeting a specific audience,
exactly.
And hitting that audience.
And you have such a big role, the Facebook users, but let's be serious. I think they were saying only 20% of those Facebook users really buy. So what you need to focus on is you need to make moves. You can start out with digital marketing, and I've seen this in my own companies, is it only brings you so far. You're going to get to a certain point and things are just not going to work anymore. So you really have to think about expanding outside of just digital marketing and initiatives just like Manscaped is doing with partnerships with the 49ers, with the UFC, guerrilla marketing in old school ways. You need to diversify all different avenues, Google, Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook, newspapers, stadiums, everything. So you can't just focus on digital marketing and that's it, just 100% of your marketing. If you do that, you are setting yourself up for failure, and it's going to happen.
Well, just to be clear here and a few takeaways. In the beginning, Matt, and I'm sure you're good with this, you can't do everything. Focus on those 2-3 platforms that it's going to help you convert. But once you're there, in order to scale further the way they're scaling as well, you need to diversify because you're going to hit that cap. There's only so many people that you could reach in Facebook that you could have reached in elsewhere. They're in other platforms. They're in other areas where you need to do your marketing. That's where you get the guerrilla marketing stands for. There's ads above urinals. There's going to be, or there is now in the San Francisco stadium, 49ers stadium, where people are taking a piss, and I don't know what the ad is, but it's gonna be hilarious and they stand out. People are gonna relate with the brand. So partnering up with UFC fighters, these are all where their audience lies. They watched UFC, so they understand that, and that's where they're going. as well.
And all the audiences for every partnership, I bet you, is male demographic from 18 to 30, which is they know is their target audience. I opened up an email this morning. I was showing Sean for Livestrong. I always say like they have a great like blog email that goes out weekly. I scrolled to the bottom and there was Manscaped 4.0 being advertised. So they are hitting in so many different arenas. Just never put all your eggs in marketing only into digital advertising. You need to be strategic and smart, or at some point you might think about this and you're going to hit a ceiling and it's going to hurt. So don't get to that point. Diversify now.
I like it. Number 2, use humor to discuss or market taboo or traditionally boring products. Manscaped, actually the first couple months or maybe a year, they actually tested out the way they were marketing was being more serious. They weren't relating to the audience. They spent about $50,000 with messaging that just like, just clean up. This is a great product just to clean up and so forth.
It's healthy. I think they said they were trying to say it was healthy. Like it's good for men to be like, to be clean down there.
Yeah, it just didn't relate to the audience. It didn't convert. The ROI wasn't there and so forth. And at one moment, they went the humor route. They had created a video with a Santa Claus trimming his beard or something.
It was a kid. It was one of the, I think it was actually the VP of marketing now,
Yep.
who was basically, they showed just a camera zoomed in on just white small hairs falling, which kind of looks like snow. And then they panned out with the buzzing sound in the background. They panned out and showed his legs, and that was the manscaping commercial. And it turned out he was Santa. He was dressed up as Santa.
They realized how that video really changed their business, and they took their marketing levels and they completely changed their strategy into a more funny route. And now if you look at their Instagram, all their social, it's all funny stuff. It's memes. It's just conversations that people are not talking about. That's how they're making this conversational, because they understood their audience, right? People don't want to talk about, shaving their balls, all right? Like in general, but don't even think about this. If it's not even your product, you still have a boring product, try to be like, all right, look, if your thing is not working right now, your marketing strategy, your cost of acquisition is way too high, find another way, a twist, how you can entertain your audience and be relatable such that you get more engagement, more shares, and people could relate to you. That's how they're building that brand affinity. That humor is building that brand affinity, by the way. You should Google it. It's actually like, there's a difference between, I keep forgetting about this, brand loyalty versus brand affinity. Brand affinity is what every business is trying to go after between their customers. And it's building that emotional connection with your customer. Like they are thinking about you in that current moment, where brand loyalty is basically like, let's say if you're subscribed to a product and you currently have it, and they're just going to keep buying it and so forth, but they don't have that emotional connection. There's no connection there. They're building that brand affinity. They're thinking about you, the product, when they're shaving their balls and so forth. So I think it's huge.
What a great picture.
Yeah. We've seen Chubbies do this.
Chubbies is very good at as well.
Chubbies is great with it, which is a bathing suit, but they do other apparel as well.
Top first 10 podcasts.
Yep. Also, Chipotle does this really well. They're actually, the whole Instagram page and it's just memes, but relatable to burritos and whatever
It works very well with taboo brands, like brands or companies that like it's not easily to speak about your products, or about brands or things you're trying to associate yourself in a industry that's very competitive and where everyone things look like, or it's a basic or like boring product.
I mean, not only just taboo. If you really go that route, it does, because who wants to talk about that? So how do you make that conversation? Jokingly. But also, if you could be really creative, if you could make yourself, people love to laugh. That's just given, right? People love laughing. The most shared stuff is on social is humor and food.
Yep.
That's the most shareable. So if you could do that,
relatable to people.
Right? People don't want to share some boring stuff. Yeah, you could be serious. You could spend tons of money and be looking all chic and stuff, but you're not going to get as much engagement. Usually unconventional stuff that people don't talk about, but you can make hilarious, are the most shared stuff. So if you could do that, they built a strong team around that. They could do that. That's the route to take place.
There it is. Number 3. Stop relying on digital agencies to run your ads. Yes, I said it. So me and Sean,
I own an agency.
Yeah, don't hire Sean in the beginning.
Don't hire me.
That should be his advice. But more seriously, guys, There's no one that knows your product and that knows the value of your either service or your brand better than you. And when you're just starting out, I know people think, hey, I don't know marketing. I don't know Facebook ads. I don't know Google ads. I don't know Pinterest, TikTok. I can keep on going. There's so many different routes to market. Learn 1, 2, or 3 of them. 3 is way too many. Probably just learn 2 of them and do the marketing yourselves. Because I promise you, unless you're a VC backed with millions of dollars, Paul Tran even said this yourselves, they're not going to spend time. They're not going to spend enough time at all on worrying about your brand and about creating a great campaign and a great vision for your brand that's going to relate to people. They don't care. They have probably 100 different clients. They are not going to care about your small little startup. The only person that's going to care about your company at the end of the day is you. And that's a promise from all the businesses I started, from Sean's business. No one gives a fuck about your brand, about your company. They're going to pat you on your back. They probably won't even buy your products. And they're not going to even fucking spend time other than maybe a 5-minute conversation. So you need to learn marketing and you need to learn the digital ad space yourself in the beginning and do it yourself. And the most important thing I was always told is you need to be in every subject, especially as an entrepreneur or a CEO, you need to be dangerous to know enough about a subject to question people that you hire or that you consult so that you know that they're doing a good job. And if you do the marketing yourself in the beginning, you're going to know it just as good as anyone that you consult with. So that's one tip I've seen in every business that I've been a part with is we spoke about with customer service a lot.
Do the dirty work.
Do the dirty work yourself in the beginning, just because you're probably not going to have money to pay anyone else. That's worth it anyway. But do the dirty work with your digital ads. Learn it. You don't need to be a pro at it. You're going to be better than anyone else you could hire anyway. And just do it.
Look, you're not going to sell the product better than anyone else. You understand the product, you understand the audience, you understand the customer situation. By the time you educate the digital agency and so forth to really sell that, you've wasted a lot of time and a lot of money as well.
You need millions of dollars.
Exactly. So testing out yourself, marketing yourself, getting familiar with those, 1 or 2 platforms is going to help you in the long run and you save tons of time as well. So that's a huge takeaway. In addition to,
especially in the digital marketing space, Sean. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but there's so many fucking people out there in digital marketing and ad platforms that pretend to know what they're doing or say pretend to advertise for you, where the rate of return is fucking garbage.
Yeah, here's my rule of thumb. If everyone says they're good at everything, like if they're good at PR and digital advertising,
bullshit.
I rarely would think so. Like I'm not in the PR space.
They even said it in this podcast. Paul Tran was saying there's rarely anyone that can be good, like really an expert at multiple digital ad platforms. So if someone's good in Facebook, they're probably not good in Google, especially the newer platforms. If someone's good in TikTok, I doubt that they're good in Facebook or Google, like the old school ones. So that's one thing to be aware about. Anyone that says they're good at everything, kind of steer clear.
By the way, Matt just referenced a podcast. We actually both listened to it. It was a great podcast interview with the CEO and the founder of the company, Paul Tran, with someone from The Hustle, I think. Which if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll link that down below.
He's actually one of the founders of Native, a deodorant that I use.
Yeah, that's just a great interview. He talks about a lot of this. We're really diving into the strategies here, but it's something definitely good to listen to if you got the minute to do that.
Absolutely. On you, boy. Number 4.
It's me?
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, well, here it is. Number 4. Change up your ad copy such that it's relevant to your customer at that present moment. Mm-hmm. So right now we're in the middle of July. In the summer, it's hot
and rainy and muggy
and rainy and muggy and so forth. So what's some of the products that they can offer is what are some problems right now that especially like me, right? I'm sweaty. It's hot out there. If I want if I'm out there, it's at 1 a.m. I'm sweating. My balls are sweaty, and I want to talk to his chick. Damn, I'm going to be a little embarrassed. But their products could, if I've had the wipe in my pocket, I can just wipe down. I feel fresh again. That's their type of ad copy. Let me actually read their ad copy for one of their ads. Actually, it's multiple ad creatives with one ad copy. By the way, they have tons of ads running right now at this current moment, but this is one of their ad copy. Hot weather got you down? Stay fresh with our crop mop ball plus butt and body wipes. Get free shipping today, manscaped.com. with multiple creatives. Again, that's right in the middle of July. That's relative. So you got to freshen up your ad copy. If you're putting out stuff that doesn't relate to your audience, you got to think, what are they thinking about at that current moment? Speak to your audience, communicate with your audience at that moment.
Yep, I agree. Every which way. Yeah. And it's hard to do when you're a one-man show or you're an entrepreneur.
But you know the product. You know the product. I mean, like
you should. Yeah.
Yeah, like you know what you're solving. You're solving. Like, look. Yeah. Well, I would say, like, you want to get a blowjob at night, you better not have a sweaty dick. That's what I would say.
I think everyone, both women and men, will agree with you on that one, John. Number 5, bring in sweetie pie investors. And you probably have no idea what this means. So Paul Tran talked about this, and I've seen it in my own businesses, especially when trying to get investors to pitch. Don't just go after the money. There's certain investors, Paul calls them sweetie pie investors, that bring so much more to the table than just money. They're either strategic partners, they bring something, a specialty in either marketing, supply chain, operations, finance. I can go on and on, but it's not just about finding money, because at the end of the day, you're going to need someone to call when you have a problem, when you have a question, and who's better to call than an investor that also put money with you. And that was one thing about the podcast that Sean and I mentioned. Actually, the individual from The Hustle, I believe, he actually was one of the investors in Manscaped, and he had him on his podcast. So you will see, like, investors will fucking drive you crazy. Well-being, they gave you money, which they worked hard for, but they are going to be all over you in terms of performance, in terms of everything, which they should be. But they're going to drive you crazy. So you should get people that are at least going to bring value to your company, so you can run questions, run situations past them, because they have experience in some probably sort of area. If they have money, they were a specialty, or they did something differently, or they have knowledge in some area where you might need them in the future.
This is actually like huge advice, especially when you said raising money. Like, imagine getting 25,000. Let's create a number, 25,000 from a bunch of people that had no value to bring to the table, just money, versus someone that has money, but they also have some tools or resources, knowledge that they could bring into the table. And that's why he actually relied with, people that he knew to raise money, but they could bring something to the table, because at the end of the day, all these people are going to be on your ass because you got their money. And, what's better than having some sort of value that they could bring to the table, especially if they're knowledgeable about it, versus someone that's not, but they're going to still be on your ass, and they're going to be like, yo, you should be doing this with your business because they just put money in it. They don't know. Like,
just think, if you run an e-commerce business, you take money from a lawyer, a plumber, an accountant, and a digital marketing agency successful. Think about which one of those contacts, I'm not saying that plumbers aren't successful, think which one of those contacts are probably you could foresee and need help for in the future. A lawyer, definitely. An accountant, definitely. Digital marketing and e-commerce business, most likely. Like the plumber, probably not in this business. I mean, the plumber could be the richest of them all. But make sure you align and take money from people that, it's not guaranteed, but you should kind of try to take money from people that can help you grow and can be kind of a shoulder to lean on when things get tough.
Agreed. Number 6, identify who is your audience and where are they most active. Manscaped actually partnered up with, I believe, a third party called NetBase with their AI tool to identify who their audience is, what they're talking about, and so forth. By the way, you don't have to do this, but it's something good to think about if you have the resources to do so. Look for these third parties because you'll get a lot more data. They are really data driven as well to understand the consumer base. So they understood the majority of their demographic are Gen Z. And where are the Gen Z mostly active? TikTok. Late 2019, they launched their TikTok channel, and bam, I believe they have about 400,000 followers now.
Damn.
And you'll see a lot of the content. The content there, it started with one of their social media directors. I believe it's Tyler. He's just creating these TikTok videos, got really familiar with the platform. He made a lot of experience with it. But he's just like an average Joe guy. Like, he's not like an influencer or anything. He's just a guy that works there, started the platform, made a lot of hilarious type of videos that are relatable. Again, talking about down there. And it started getting a lot of traction, a lot of views. TikTok is a great place for new creators and new brands to actually launch out if you have the right strategy in place. And this is one of the brands I've seen that has a different strategy across just
multiple
TikTok.
Platforms.
Multiple platforms. So their TikTok It's complete. You don't even see a TikTok. I mean, there could be. There's probably some TikToks in Instagram as shared as reels, but it's not all over the platform versus TikTok, where it's like completely different content. And you'll see this guy, especially in the beginning, he's all over it. And then you have other people as well posting about it. He has giveaways just on that platform as well. So they did a great job just to gain a new audience because they knew, organically, because that's where it is. And then you could put link in the bio as well to drive traffic to your website. But he's building that brand awareness, and that's a great platform to be in. It still is today, even though that Instagram has reels, it's still skyrocketing.
Yeah.
So
it's going to overtake Instagram, Facebook within the year. So
I mean, I'm not saying that,
as long as it doesn't get closed down from China. I'm saying that it will by user base.
Let me just give one more thing. I have a few other good points.
Bonus. Wow.
Yeah. So you could also, I've seen number 7, increase sales by adding a gift with purchase. Something I haven't mentioned in the past. Currently, one of their ads, they're giving like 2 gifts, like the deodorant and something else. I think maybe their wipes if you purchase their grooming kit.
Usually these are new products, guys. That's the reason they do it, is they're trying to send you new products that were just released to try to basically say, oh, these are pretty cool. Let me order them next time, or let me subscribe to them. That's why gifts are used.
But also for the customer,
or they're not working and they need to get rid of them before they expire or before they go bad. And the better way to do it is just to send them to people. Maybe they'll like them and buy.
Sure, that's good. That could be most likely. But for the strategy behind it is just giving an incentive, adding more value to a package. So the customer looks at it as like, yo, I'm getting more value for my buck, right? Yep. So they see that, they're like, all right, damn, I should just purchase now. So that's going to help you increase sales. It works, especially if you don't do it frequently. This is just another sales strategy. You ever go to like
supplement shops or order supplements online, and they send you the little packets of like 7 different packets of 3 brands?
But they actually don't mention that. So they're actually mentioning this in the ad. So they're and these are you're talking about samples, which is I don't think
samples or gifts.
Gifts, yeah.
Same thing. It's just same thing, just different terminology.
Yeah, I think you're like thinking about like a supplement brand where they sell you like they give you a shaker along with your like pre-workout. So I've seen that.
Great branding.
It is.
You carry that around the gym all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I lose half of them. But,
yes, exactly.
So that was my little extra tidbit. Do you want to mention anything else, or
I think that's it, guys.
Guys, thanks for listening.
Great brand.
Yeah, it's a great brand. I love their branding. They're gonna skyrocket. I won't even be surprised if Hims, one of the brands that we talked about in the past, which basically made Viagra basically normal, or like you could buy it online, and made another interesting topic to talk about. Their branding strategy is phenomenal. Very similar demographic. I see a connection there. Maybe not.
Dollar Shave Club we talked about.
Dollar Shave Club, another. Maybe they could buy them out, or maybe I don't see a partnership because that's more of a competitor.
Yeah, they
more
both
of a bought out.
But yeah.
Let's see what happens. But guys, if you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, give us a 5-star rating, please. That's going to help us, reach a larger audience. If you know someone that is starting a brand or is currently building a business online, share this podcast. It's going to really help them scale in the long run. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more weekly videos. And we will, and if you have any questions as well, you could tweet at mscopac or at Sean_Azari. And if you're watching again on YouTube, in the comments below.
Comment below.
So I'll see you next week. Ciao.